Blog Talk Radio.
Recruiting Animal here on July 3rd, 2019. It's your big holiday tomorrow in the United States. We had ours on Monday. July 1st is our Canada Day. But anyway, Jerry was making me laugh before the show started, and I wanted to say there's a lot of Americans that I really like. Jerry Albright's one of them. He's a funny guy.
Thank you.
Always appreciates showing my gratitude, okay? Anyway, but now turning to more serious affairs, a lot of people block me on Twitter. A lot, okay? Why do they do that? Just because I disagree with them, right? And I had one of my usual run-ins just last week with a longtime social media buddy who posted a very strong opinion about one of the big stories in the news, and I challenged it, right? So she said I was trying to make her look bad. She said I'm always trying to make her look bad. But you know what? I wasn't. I was just talking to her. She posted something, so I replied. So then she came back to me with a bunch of graphs that supported her claim, she said, right? I told her those are generalities, okay? Look at the exact story that we're talking about. Those numbers are irrelevant here, right? She didn't agree with me. And then her friend got involved. The friend started posting GIFs of people, you know, those moving pictures of people who were rolling their eyes and were just totally exasperated with me, right, of course. And then she told me, she said, look, this other person has already given you the data, so why can't you see that she's right? So I said, look, the data is irrelevant. Those are generalities that have no relevance to this story. Take a look at it, read it, you know. And, of course, nobody tried to address the specific issues I was raising. They just kept shouting, the data, you know, like it was an amulet. I kept shouting back, the story. And in the end, you know, I said, okay, I won't comment on your stuff anymore, and I won't, right? If someone's very sensitive, I steer clear. But I got to tell you, tomorrow, as I said, is the 4th of July, okay, in the United States. It's a great democracy. You're going to celebrate it. But people are people. I don't care if they're Americans or not. And most people can't stand disagreement, okay? But now we're on a show where disagreement is encouraged. And Jerry, what show is that?
That or this? Dude, that threw me way off.
What show is this, Jerry? Come on. What show?
The Recruiting Animal Show!
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you.
That was impressive.
Okay. I want to thank my sponsors before I get going. PC Recruiter, the Swiss Army knife of recruiting software. Hire Tool, HIRETUAL, the super-duper sourcing tool. Even though the sponsor didn't show up for last week, he was a guest, he didn't show. And also Honeit, HONEIT, the phone interview technology. Oh, Jerry, you know, I got to tell you something before we get going. I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
Researchers in Scotland found that human beings are attracted to other people who smell like them, who have similar odors, body odors, right? So I was wondering how a recruiter could overcome that kind of
I don't know. That's not
unconscious bias. Unconscious bias. I came up with an idea. The hiring manager has to tell the recruiter that candidates must wear deodorant to the interview. You got to tell them, okay, to cover up their natural smell. What do you think of that?
That's so far away from my expertise. I don't even have any thoughts on it.
What about the guest, Mike Rasmussen?
What do you think about wearing perfume to an interview?
Okay, well, you're covering up your natural body odor there, Kathy. So maybe, if your body odor clicked with the hiring manager, you're screwing yourself. Maybe I shouldn't use that word. Okay. Michael G. Cox, did you have something to say about it?
I would highly recommend deodorant, yes.
Okay, but should we tell them, what about these IT guys? I hear they don't wear deodorant. Should we say, look, you got to wear deodorant when you come to this interview?
If you perceive it, if you've met with your candidate and you think it might be an issue, I would suggest addressing the issue.
Okay. The point is we don't meet with all our candidates, and you should know already. Get off that speakerphone, okay?
Everybody
get
bad,
off your
and that's going to wreck your show.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike's here, by the way. Mike Rasmussen's here.
Mike Rasmussen, the guest. I was coming to you, but these guys butted in. What's your take on this smell issue now? We've got, bias caused by smell, which is invisible.
Honestly, I don't know if you can really prepare for that. I mean, it's.
Well, what about telling people, look, you've got. Go ahead.
I think you can. I think you can say to the candidate, you want to dress and look your best. You can say that, and I think hopefully naturally common sense would kick in, and they would know to put on.
Yeah. You trust. He's got trust in the candidate. Kathy wants to say something again. What's that, Kathy? God forbid I shouldn't let you.
Oh, God.
Go ahead.
I would say that, pursuant to my question, my advice is, probably not wear perfume, but, deodorant's a good thing. And, just do it in your prep for how they should dress. Make it just gloss over it. But
no way. But, Animal, wasn't the subject managers hire people who smell like them?
Yeah.
So how you going to olfactorily know what they smell like?
Well,
I mean, how would you even know that? Like maybe
they
you live with them and they smell like tangerines or something, and then you say, "Hey, candidate, I got a tip for you. Smell like a tangerine, and you're in." That's ridiculous. This is a ridiculous subject.
Cover up the smell. Cover up the smell. That's what I'm saying, Jerry. So that it's not an issue anymore.
Well,
okay?
A male hiring manager.
Every deodorant has a smell.
What?
Well, not all of them. But a male hiring manager would not want to wear, Versace yellow diamond. So I would not smell like a male hiring manager.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
Once
I'm getting
again,
lost
the recruiting
now.
animal shows the best
Pardon
possible.
me?
Like
Who's
you're
typing?
getting all the best.
Who's
all
that,
the
Maureen? Loud? Who's typing so loud? Come on. I can't hear anything. Clunk, 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 clunk. Maureen she told me to get a silent typewriter, keyboard, and I actually went out and bought one, right? But then I found out she didn't have one. Okay. I don't know if that's her.
Have you seen the YouTube show, the YouTube videos where these pranksters go in and they'll have the typewriters and they'll go into a library? Have you seen those?
No, I don't know who's talking. I can barely hear you. You're on a speakerphone.
It was sorry, I speak up a little bit, but that. Have you seen the folks that go in and there's YouTube videos where they have these folks who go in and they'll have these typewriters and they go into a library and they start typing as a prank.
Yeah. No,
how about on the movie Jackass where the guy goes in and tries out the toilet in the plumbing store? You seen that? Has anybody seen that?
No.
Emma, you better get the show going here, dude, or your sponsors are going to start bailing.
Okay.
Seriously.
It's the only show that's raised that issue, I guarantee it. Success tips. Quick, here's a bunch of quickies for you. What time did you go to bed last night, Mike Rasmussen?
Me, I went to bed at 10.
What time did you wake up?
7 o'clock.
7? Well, that's a lot of sleep. Do you need that much for real?
No. I got some good sleep last night. It was good. No, I average generally 11.
You don't believe you're not one of these 6 o'clock. You don't believe in. You're not a 6 o'clock club person. Oh, get up early. That's the key to success. You don't believe in that.
I tend to get up around 6:45 most of the time. So
yeah,
and
okay. You're not answering the question. You're not answering the question.
I have to,
what did you have for breakfast?
Mike,
what did you have for breakfast?
Hey.
What did you have for breakfast?
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal. Do you meditate? Yes or no?
Hey, this is William Tincup, and you should know about the You Should Know podcast. It's a topical, fun podcast with Ron, myself, and a guest, or guests, plural sometimes, and we tackle the most timely topics of the day. Give it a look, give it a listen, and subscribe. Thanks.
I have some silent time where I go and I kind of
no, that's a no. Final question. Do you work out? You know what? You called on a crappy phone. You're going to wreck this show for sure. I just got to tell you.
Hold on,
it's crap.
I'll fix it. Hold on, I'll fix it.
He's wrecking
the
show.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Much better. Okay, good.
Okay. Do you work out? Final question. Do you work out? Do you exercise every day?
Yes,
okay.
I do.
Good. Okay, that's his success tips. Do you keep records of the work hours required to fill each job? Like this job took 60 hours. You know, there's 3 people working on it. It's 180 hours it took us to find this project manager with specific experience. Do you keep detailed records about hours worked for every job?
Well, if there are times where some managers like
that's
to
a
know
no.
that
Okay, I know it was a no,
no
when you didn't say yes.
No. Hey, you're not letting me finish my thought here. So here's the thing, Mike. So I record. I tally how many hours I work on a specific project, if that makes sense. And because I'm corporate, I don't have billable hours because I'm not on an agency side. But in my case, I do keep a general record of what I'm doing, so I can give quick stats to the managers as needed in order to keep things on track and to also show them
which kind of jobs are take the lowest hours. Which kind of jobs take the lowest number of hours?
The lowest number of hours are probably the non-technical ones.
Like?
The technical ones take more time.
Okay, I'm asking for a job title. Don't make me pull teeth, okay?
Okay, software engineers. Those are the ones that take the most
time. They take the most time. And how much is that? How many hours? How many hours?
Per week? Are you asking?
Per job. For those tough jobs, how many hours are you putting in on them?
Probably about 240.
Wow, for a software engineer. Jerry, what do you say? Do you track your hours, Jerry?
This kind of a question shows that you are way out of your league even asking this.
Okay, I'll tell you who I got it from.
That's a ridiculous
I didn't make it up.
question.
I didn't make it up. I got it from one of the presenters, the big top presenters right now in Europe. Okay.
Yeah, that's a lame question, dude. You can't. Are you asking starting from scratch, from zero, with no lifetime knowledge, no understanding of the industry, no history, no relationships, no past experiences? Starting from scratch?
It depends on the company.
That's the only way that question is relevant. Otherwise, the wheel is always spinning.
Mm-hmm.
Get to a question that's legitimate. We're all professionals here, man. This isn't newbie show, is it?
Michael G. Cox, is that a ridiculous question? Michael G. Cox, is that a dumb question?
No, I don't think it's it's just how do you measure that, man? It's not
right. There's no way to measure that.
Why not?
So here's Mike.
You get the
so here's the thought. So the most important thing to remember is relevancy. What are the circumstances and why? You can't just track something to track it, right? I mean, you have to have a reason. So the big key is, is it relevant to, consulting with your hiring manager and being a better partner to them to help them realize or realign an expectation?
How about you ever heard cost of hire, Mike?
That's a good
Mike, you ever heard the term cost of hire? Okay, and it tells you what the cost of hire person is. Okay, that's the logic there. Okay.
Ridiculous.
I get it. Yeah,
ridiculous.
You're right. That's a good point, but Yeah, I mean, you have to have relevancy for the purpose of the hiring manager.
I don't.
Consulting with
it's
them.
The relevancy is obvious. It's the cost of doing business. Okay, I noticed in your pictures you're going gray. We had a discussion about that. Maureen raised it a couple of weeks ago. Have you ever thought of dyeing your hair? Have you ever thought of dyeing your hair?
It makes me look distinguished.
So no, you think looking older is a plus?
You know what? It's actually a curse from my mom's side of the family. All the guys on our, even in our early 30s, mid 30s, go gray. So I don't know. It's part of the reality.
Dyed hair looks horrible and makes a man look older. I'm sorry. I hate it.
Okay.
It does.
Okay, but what's her name? Krista Bradford. Her husband, who's a professional saxophone player, she said he dyes his hair. So I looked at his video, and he looked pretty good. Although I tend to agree with you, Kathy.
It doesn't matter.
Why, Mike?
Well, you know what? It matters in the fact that there is some bias with people who have gray hair, and if they're being interviewed face to face.
Apparently, it's a huge bias. That's what
right.
everyone's saying. It's a huge bias.
But for men, I don't think it's an issue as much. I think, my husband went white when he was in his 30s. I don't think it's an issue.
Okay.
It's actually more common than you think, I think, right, Kathy?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
So are albinos. They're common, too. Okay. What about, do you ask for recommendations from people on LinkedIn? Do you say, listen, do you ever call anybody up or email them and say, I'd like you to write a recommendation for me, a good one?
The answer to that is I have to know them and have to have had a business relationship with them. I know there are people out there that send random recommendation requests to people. I don't think that's a good idea. So all the people that I ever request a recommendation from, I have to know in some way, shape, or form before I will do that.
So yes, you do. Yes, you do, but you don't send them to everybody. In other words, you've been on this show so many times, you should know how to answer already. Okay?
Okay.
Jerry, do you send out do you ask for recommendations?
No.
Why not?
Who cares about a stupid-ass recommendation?
Why would you
Everybody
ask Jerry
cares.
that question? Why would you ask Jerry that question? Jerry would never do that.
I would never do that.
I can't
by the way.
No, I can't see him ever doing that.
Kathy, do you do it?
I did. Yeah, I did. And I thought it worked well for me. So I did do it.
Okay. Michael G. Cox, do you do that? Do you ask for recommendations?
We were told to a few years ago to get recommendations from all the other recruiters. It was basically a big I can't use that word. It was like I would do one for you and you would do one for me, and it was absolutely ridiculous and pointless.
Anytime I see a recruiter with a bunch of recommendations, I think, that poor schmuck asking all those people for recommendations.
Yeah.
Anybody else on the line wanted? Anybody else on the line?
On mine, and I had to give a few out, and it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of
Anybody
mine
else?
I did not ask for a lot of mine.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Anybody else here want to talk about that? Anybody else? No?
Recommendations on
LinkedIn.
You have, Animal.
Pardon me? You know what? In the past, I wouldn't even accept recommendations. I didn't like them. Now I'm more open. Okay. Let me see. Here, listen to this. I read that people with wide mouths are perceived by other people. What?
With white
You've
mouths?
got 5 recommendations. You got Dave Mendoza. And
oh, God.
Me.
Oh, no.
And Maureen.
Yeah.
Jenny Devon.
Yeah.
And Peter Lunk. What's he up to?
I don't
that
know.
was from March of 2010, by the way. Your last,
oh my gosh.
last recommendation was 8 years ago.
Yeah, I don't take them. So hold on. Here, listen. Here's the thing. These psychologists did a study, and they found that people with wide mouths are perceived by other people to be better leaders, and perform they perform better actually in their actual leadership effectiveness in business and politics. So, Mike Rasmussen.
Fucking nonsense.
What kind of nonsense are you getting into, dude?
The psychology.
Nonsense.
It's the psychology. Would you let that influence you, the wideness of somebody's mouth?
Who's the guest today? You talking to Mike?
Mike Rasmussen.
No,
first.
I would not
Sweet
let that influence
Jesus,
me.
you've got a wide mouth. Will you lead us?
I would not let that influence me on any decision I would make.
Okay, but here's the thing, Mike, you might not realize that you're responding to that person's wide mouth, okay? It's subconscious. That's why the psychologists test it.
Most of my work happens
weird,
over the
man.
phone, my friend, so I don't really see their mouth.
You don't? Well, what can we do to protect ourselves from unconscious bias against wide mouths?
Switch this to any other body part, and the stock in this show goes up.
Okay.
What about someone with no upper lip? Now that bothers me.
Okay, there you go. But you actually notice that, so at least you can catch your bias, okay?
Yeah,
but,
I
you
do.
know,
I'm afraid I'm going to end up being part of a group lawsuit here one of these days from this show.
Oh, yeah, I better not say anything. I didn't say that.
Okay.
It was a joke.
Mike Rasmussen, recruiting video emails. You ever put a video in your recruiting emails?
I have not personally done that, but I hear it has great value. And
why haven't you?
Why not? Because I really haven't had the time to put one together yet.
Jerry, have you done it? Jerry, have you done it?
No.
Michael G. Cox. One of those will be Michael, one will be Mike. Michael G. Cox, have you used them?
Video in recruiting emails, I would say email on LinkedIn, not in mails, but to people that I've connected with, yes. And
you're saying, what are you saying in that? Hi, I'm nice to meet you. My name is Mike. What do you say?
It's like for a recent connection, it'd be something like, hey, Mike, thanks for connecting with me recently. I've got an opportunity that I'm currently working on and wanted to run this by you, but rather than sharing a 1,500-word essay that you're probably not going to read anyway, check out this quick 2-minute video, and that video gives them a quick overview of the opportunity, and then they can tell me whether or not they want to move forward.
Okay, but is that you?
I get a very high response rate.
Is that you talking to your camera? Is that what it is?
It can be more often than not. It's kind of like just a screen capture video that's going through a presentation that's covering compensation and what the job entails, what they would be selling, and an overview of the company.
Okay, but what's on the screen? Is it text? It sounds like you said, I'm not going to give you text, and now you're giving them text. What's on the screen? If it's not you talking.
It's like a presentation. It's like a Prezi video. It's a Prezi presentation that has very few words on it. It's just kind of like little bubbles that shows them.
It's not pictures of people smiling at the office with a narrative over top of it, is it?
No people smiling at the office.
And stuff.
No shaking hands. Nothing like that. No.
Anyway, you recommend it. You get good responses on it. Is that what you're saying? Yes.
Yeah, it's working pretty good because people don't read long emails.
Okay.
I used it as well.
You did way back then? Way back when?
No, when I was at Deloitte, I used them.
Yeah.
And
really? Was it you?
The candidates loved them. Absolutely loved them.
Was it you yourself talking? What was in the picture in the film?
No, it was generally after I'd had the phone screen with the candidate, and then they would want more information about the company. And then Deloitte had specifically made videos. And no, but they were great. You asked about videos. It doesn't have to be me. I mean, I'm
okay,
sending
well, what
it.
I meant was when you take a video of yourself and you say, "Hi, I'm Mike Rasmussen. I'm a recruiter, and I'm interested in you, and here's why. I've got this position. I know." And so you're actually, you're talking to the person, or you got the hiring manager. Here, I'm a recruiter. Here's my hiring manager. He wants to have a chat with you, and then the hiring manager comes on and has a personable 1-minute conversation.
That's
with
a good
the
idea.
prospective
That's
candidate.
a really good idea. I like that.
Look, everybody on this show is pretty articulate. I would listen to Mike Rasmussen or Michael G. Cox. I would even listen to Jerry. Okay. So
notice how I'm left out. Notice how I'm left out. Notice that.
Well, I'm talking to you, Kathy. I'm talking to you about it, okay? And you're saying, but in contrast, you were endorsing. Just so I have to defend myself. You were endorsing these company-made videos, and I'm saying, in contrast to that, I'm talking about you yourself. And so you didn't say, I don't want to. You're not going to do what you said. You go using the company one. I'm saying I like it if these other. Anyway.
By the way, I may be back working. Again, so I'm really happy.
Good.
Like,
happy. I'm happy for you. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Mike Rasmussen. Okay.
Yeah.
Mike. Okay. Should a recruiter be judged by new hire retention? I mean, if you make a hire, if you present some candidates, person stays only a short time, is that bad on you? Are you responsible?
I don't think so. I think that really depends on the organization to support the onboarding and the training of the candidate. I don't think that comes back to the recruiter necessarily.
Okay, so you don't think you can detect this guy's not very stable or this woman is not very stable. You can't detect that before.
There's certain you can to some degree in the screening process, but when it comes to if they make the hiring decision, if the business makes the hiring decision, that's on them. They have to, get that candidate onboarded, give them the right training, get them up to speed.
So if you had, let's say you had three hires, you worked on 3 projects, and every one of them, the candidate that they got from you, the new hire didn't last 6 months. Do you think your boss might come to you and say, Mike, what's going on? You're screwing up. Would he or she do that? Would your manager do that?
Not in my boat necessarily, because we have such high volume, and I don't often get that. But I think if it was with the same manager, you might want to have, and you're working with that same manager over and over again.
Okay, so you would actually blame the manager. It wouldn't be a case of them coming to you. It would be you going to them and saying, hey, what, are you screwing things up here? I'm giving you good candidates, and once they're hired, they're gone overnight. And it's not me, it's you, Ms. Manager. You're doing something wrong. And then would you go through a checklist, like you said, of onboarding process and training?
Yeah, I think that's relevant. I think you'd want to talk through that with them.
So you would turn the tables. I like the way you did that. You turned the tables on them. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. I'm going to do an ad right now for Hire Tool, HIRETUAL. Hey, I saw superstar recruiter Amy Miller, answer a question on Facebook about her favorite sourcing tool. And you know what she said? She said it's Hire Tool, hands down. Hands down. She said, I recruit engineering managers in big tech, and I've done side-by-side comparisons with Hire Tool, AI sourcing function, and another brand name tool, and you know what? It was no contest. Hire Tool, HIRETUAL, provided relevant results with full contact info. The other tool didn't. Let's leave it at that. It missed the mark. So she's happy to discuss it with anybody who wants to. Amy Miller, superstar for Hire Tool. Okay, back to Mike. Mike, before I go on, are there any issues that, burning issues that you think about a lot in recruiting that you want to discuss?
Yeah, I think the tight labor market and really making, what does everybody here think about attracting candidates in this tight market and working through and trying
you have to be more specific. No, you can't. It's just too old. What do you mean think about attracting candidates?
Just the competitive market and
be specific. Be specific. Well, what do you mean? Some specific way of attracting? You're talking about job ads, Are you talking about
just
cold calls?
How do you differentiate?
Well, you tell us
your
first.
Initial reach out.
How do you differentiate
how does everybody do that? What does everyone think about how do you be most effective with your reach outs in
Jerry
this tight
first.
market now?
If Jerry's still awake, let's see what he's doing. Jerry, are you there? No. Michael G. Cox, can you answer that question?
Can you repeat the question, please?
I don't know what it was, really. It's kind of vague, okay?
It wasn't vague.
You ask it then, Kathy. Go on.
Okay, I agree with you, Mike. It's like I think where it begins is you have to modify the way you look at contacting candidates, and that's a big problem. I mean, like you said, the tight labor market. How are you going to get their attention? And have you thought of any good ideas for that solution?
Okay, Michael G. Cox, that's the question. The tight labor market, how do you get people's attention?
Hi, I'm Stephen Rothberg.
And I'm Jeanette Leeds.
And together, we're the co-hosts of the High Volume Hiring Podcast.
Are you involved in hiring dozens or even hundreds of employees a year? If so, you know that the typical sourcing tools, tactics, and strategies, they just don't scale.
Yeah. Our bi-weekly podcast features news, tips, case studies, and interviews with the world's leading experts about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to high-volume hiring.
Make sure to subscribe today.
Well,
are you doing anything special? You just told us you've got these videos.
Yeah, the video is helping because it's a faster way to communicate the basics of the opportunity and the client organization, and the
anything
kind of
else?
What's in it. I'm connecting directly with individuals versus sending them emails that nobody reads anyway.
You mean you're cold calling them?
No, no, because
what does
nobody
connect
answers
directly?
the phone.
What does connect directly mean then?
On LinkedIn.
Oh.
So
is that new?
I'll tell you what I do. I mean, one of the things
you should have done that to be first off. You should have done that right away. Go ahead.
Before you go into that animal, this isn't anything new, and I don't think the tight labor market is making things any more difficult. The fact is that the people that we recruit for and the people that our hiring managers want to, or if you're external, your clients want to hire, those individuals were never unemployed anyway. The folks that we're paid to hire or recruit, the
passive candidates. We're
them.
After passive candidates, so it's not like all the people who were looking have got sucked up. Okay, so that's what you're saying. Okay, I'm lost. Michael Rasmussen, what do you want to say? We've lost everybody. They're not listening to us anymore. Go ahead.
I'll just say, next time I'll lead off with a suggestion rather than ask. So in this case, what I was thinking of and what I've been trying and seems to work fairly well is if I send an in-mail, whatever contact method I use, I always try to follow it up with a call as much as possible as well. So I do try to find the phone number and get to the bottom of that, but I think a phone call.
How many times do you call? How many times do you call?
How many times do I call?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to call in the same day. I'm going to space it out maybe by 48 hours. And I find that works fairly well. I'll say, hey, you didn't see my message and, still very interested to talk to you.
Okay, so you're leaving voicemails. Hold on. You're leaving voicemails? Look, okay. How many will you leave?
I'll leave 3, and then I'll say, hey, you probably didn't see my message, but I just wanted to follow up one more time.
Okay, so you'll leave
Maybe you're not available.
You will leave 4 voicemails all told. Is that what you're saying? Yes or no?
3.
Okay, 3. How many emails will you send?
2. But I space it out.
Over how long a period? Is that over the course of a week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, you see how easy it is once you make it specific? Good. Okay. And so
you got it. More specific.
How often once you start pestering them like that, do they respond positively?
I would say after the second time, they usually do get back, about 90% of the time. So I've
second phone call, not second email, second phone call. Okay.
Second phone call. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So is that your exciting new way to bring in people just by bugging them a little more, calling them up, leaving voicemails?
Like I said, you do it professionally over a 2-week period of time, and you try to be approachable, and that works for me.
And what I'm saying is that what you consider innovative? Is that innovative?
It's not innovative. It's just being a person.
It's old school. It's old school.
It's old school. It totally is old school. I think that old school is still cool. I mean, picking up the phone and making a call is still as relevant now as it ever was.
Interjection here. The Dow Jones Industrial Average may very well reach 27,000 this afternoon.
Oh, good.
Keep your fingers crossed, folks.
Good.
Okay. I just read that the bond market, it's taken a tumble, and that means we're on the verge of a recession. Okay. There you go.
Jerry, do you sell when it goes up that high?
No.
Okay.
No. Let it ride until you retire, Kathy.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Jerry, have you, since it's a tight job market, have you tried any specific new innovative techniques to get to people?
Me? No.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay. Okay. Mike Rasmussen.
What's new and innovative? You mean?
Mike Rasmussen phones people and leaves voicemails.
That's not innovative. Yeah, I'd do that.
I mean, I'm not calling it innovative. I'm calling it, I still think it works, and it's still, we have all these fancy tools and fancy things, but sometimes it just comes down to just being a human being and picking up the phone and making a call, right? I mean, that's still what it's all about.
Okay. Right. Yeah. You introduced the question. You said, what are people doing different in order to get through to people in this tight job market? So then you said you're phoning people. Okay. That means you're doing something new and different. That's means innovative, doesn't it? But let's move on.
Well,
here's
the
other
thing, Mike.
No, I'm not going to argue that. Wait a second.
Listen,
I'm moving on.
I think another thing that folks are doing is using...
Listen to me, Mike. Our company's too picky. Okay. Listen to me or you won't come back. Listen to this. There's so many good, smart, talented, motivated people that don't fit into the razor-thin silos that the companies demand. Do you agree with that? I want you to think about it for a minute while I do an ad, okay? Hi, everybody. It's Recruiting Animal here for Honeit, Honeit. Okay, Honeit is phone interview technology. It records your interviews, and it turns the key questions and answers into separate audio clips. You know why? To help the hiring manager hear the motivation, the personality, the enthusiasm that the recruiter just heard. Yeah, when you can share a story with a hiring manager in the candidate's own voice, it delivers a ton of info that you just can't get from a resume, right? So if you want to get a hiring manager excited about a great candidate, share some of that sizzle with Honeit, Honeit. It also turns the whole interview into a transcript that is searchable. Okay, so Honeit, Honeit, and I'm going to do the ad for our good friends at PC Recruiter right now as well.
Yeah, I love this one.
No, you don't know this one. It's from Nick Mazur. Nick Mazur, M-A-Z-U-R, okay? M-A-Z-U-R. He says, we use PC Recruiter, and you know what? We love it. I have demoed a ton of systems, and they have the most robust set of features. Other products do one or two things better. But overall, I think PC Recruiter has the most features. We do multiple industries and 4 different types of searches. And you know what? It's very, very versatile. PC Recruiter, the versatile recruiting software. Check it out at pcrecruiter.net. Back to our guest, Mike Rasmussen. Mike, our company's too picky. The job market is, the candidates pool is shrinking, like you said, and yet these hiring managers are wanting more and more specific skills. Is it true or not?
I think it depends on the industry. Each industry has its own requirements. So
Okay, you know what? I'm not asking for bland, general stuff here. I got to tell you something.
That's not bland.
There was a guest.
It's true.
There
it
was
depends
a guest,
on the industry, I think.
You listen to me. You listen to me for a sec. There was a guest on just a couple of months ago, and I pestered him. I said, look, Amir, I said, don't give me these generalities. When he was a guest, he got back to me. He said, I've got my own podcast now, and I understand what you were saying. Granular. I want to hear about your experience. I don't want you to hear, it depends on the industry. I want you to hear, okay, you know what? I've done a few searches, and I haven't had any problems. You know, the hiring managers are very reasonable. Or, you know what? They are too picky. 5 years ago, they were just more relaxed. Now they think they can get everything. I want to know an answer like that, or say, you know what, recruiting animal, I can't answer that question. Let's move on. Let's do something more exciting. What's your answer now?
What's my answer now? Well, The honest truth is, there are searches that have more of tough scenarios, and I think you go through a first round process with putting 2 or 3 candidates in front of the manager. Manager says, well, these aren't a fit. But then you point out and say, you look at the job description, this is exactly the criteria you wanted. And, and then you have to realign. I think it's resetting expectations.
Are they so stupid? Hold on. Are they so stupid that they don't know what they asked you for and you have to point it out?
No, I wouldn't say they're stupid. I think it sometimes they feel on the front end, because of whatever's going on in their environment, that they have a specific need. Later you come back to them and you have to recalibrate a little bit. So sometimes there are searches just like that.
Why? It's not a year. There's not a year elapsing between the time they give you the job, the request, the job order, and the time you bring in some people. Maybe a month or so, maybe even less.
Mm-hmm.
What, have they lost their minds? Why is there a need for recalibration? What's going on? You work your ass off trying to find people who fit the bill, and then they say, no, it's not what I want. That's not right. That's abuse of a recruiter. Don't you agree?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily that. I think you look at where the hiring manager is coming from many times. I think, there's so many factors that go into that, right? I mean, they have a million things that they're trying to work through, and part of being a good consultant to them is sometimes helping them. I think when you come back and you're starting to look at what their needs are, what I do is I'll go back and I'll look at the specific criteria in the location, and I think you can start this in the intake session, and you bring them data and you say, hey, this is how...
Jerry's going to say, Jerry doesn't even tell me anymore. He just disappears. You used to say, I'm getting bored.
No, listen to me.
Okay?
Listen to me. Listen to me.
I'm getting bored.
I know, you're probably getting bored.
What do you need?
No, hear me out. I'm saying that sometimes what I'll do is I'll go and I'll pull information about the pool of candidates that's available for the specific criteria that manager's looking for. So I go and I plug in my sourcing criteria, and I can see exactly how many people are in that pool. And then I come back to the manager and I say, this is how many are actually with these criteria. And, you've only got 3% of these folks that are really looking. This is how many are actually available. So you have to be realistic with them and tell them this is what the market demands.
How do you get those numbers? How do you get those numbers? So what you're saying?
How do you get those numbers?
Yeah.
I use LinkedIn. I use Indeed. Whatever sourcing tool you have is many times we'll have this information and we'll have a quick summary point, quick dashboard of information about how many actual candidates have these.
So you do a quick search
criteria.
for the title, or what? You do a quick search for the title. How do you do that search? I want to know.
Well, here's an example. I had a role that has a very specific niche, and it's SAP Payroll. And you have to go and you pull up the exact amount of information about how many candidates have that specific criteria. And
what criteria?
You say, hey,
like the title? What are you searching? Just the title, or what? Or location, or what is it? How do you do a quick search?
Skills, the tech skills mixed with the title, the common titles that these candidates have, and you get a rough estimate of how many are actually out in the market.
Okay. What about this? why not take a profile, take some of those profiles and actually put in front of the person so he's got something concrete to think of.
You do that too. You say, hey, you know, this is the amount of candidates that look like this profile, and then the manager can tell you, you know, this is specifically
but what about
this
also
is in line
saying,
with what I'm looking for.
Look, Bill or Mary, you know, I'm going to put a lot of time into this. I don't want to waste the company's time. I don't want you jerking me around, okay? I want to know. I want you to be sure of what you're looking for. And you know, if it's going to mean that we're going to spend a few hours describing the position, let's do it now. I don't want to come back after I spend 20 hours on this search and have you say, they're not right. I'm going to go for something else. Do you ever really lay it on the line like that? Don't waste my time. You're not going to change this job description.
There are times that, you know, you have to tell the manager straight up, you know, you want all these criteria. Do you have any flexibility on any of these parameters? And, you know, the manager will say, no, I don't. But then you say, well, if this is what you want, there's only 80 people in your backyard and, you know, all of them are employed. What do you want to do? I mean, are you willing to pay the salary this candidate's going to command? Because they know that they're going to be able to command a high salary. What's your budget? Is your budget even going to meet what these candidates can command? Because they're going to be able to tell you what they want if there's only so finite.
I want to get to this other question. Okay, I get your picture now. I want to get to this other question before the time's gone. I read an article. You know, that you read these people are saying job orders, you know, or job ads are not job descriptions. You know, they have to appeal to people, and I always wonder what they're talking about. Well, now I've got some examples. Okay, here's an example. It's from a co-working space in New York. Okay, they're looking for a social media and marketing manager. Okay, they want someone who's part visionary, one part online warrior, one part pop culture guru, a dash of precocious energy mixed with a little lyrical whimsy, and served with a shot of espresso. Do you think that's a good ad?
Hold on. What is that? That's me. What job is this? That's me.
I've always thought Jerry was quite whimsical.
Whimsy. That's my middle name.
Yeah. Okay, well, Jerry, what do you think of that? I think that's a stupid ad. They think obviously it's something
I don't
special.
know, man.
What do you think?
It's hard to say.
Visionary, warrior, guru, whimsy. Does anybody think it's
nothing
good?
But advertising copyright, so it really doesn't tell you anything about the job. And as a recruiter, you wouldn't rely on that to run your search anyway.
Exactly. Great point.
Animal, I have to say goodbye. I have a manicure appointment.
Oh, God. I wouldn't want you to miss that, Kathy.
No.
Get out of here.
Thank you.
Happy 4th,
Good luck
everyone.
with your job hunting, Kathy.
Happy 4th, Kathy.
I already have a sort of an offer. I just don't know if I want to do it or not. So
yes,
we'll
you
see.
do. Yes, you do.
We'll see.
Go ahead.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Keep shopping around. You're worth more than
Let
that.
us know. Mike Rasmussen, do you ever use ads? Yes or no? Bye, Kathy. Yes
do I
or
use
no,
job
Mike?
ads? Yes, I do.
Okay, and would you use something like this?
No. I wouldn't write
Why
it
not?
that way. Why not?
Yeah.
Probably, I mean, it's fluff.
Yeah, it's fluff, but that's what some people think is good. But here's what the boss at Ian Siegel from ZipRecruiter, he says if you use that kind of fancy job ad, it's going to appeal to young men. It's not going to, I don't know if this one, I don't know if he's talking to this one, but he said if you're using a lot of these phrases like ninja and warrior and all these, I don't know, game, video game terms or whatever, it's only going to appeal to a limited audience, and it's not going to appeal to older people or necessarily women. Do you think? So what are your job ads? They're not flowery at all, I take it, right?
No, I mean mine are very specific. I think they definitely call out the criteria of the role, but they're not wordy either. I think you try to get to the point and have the most important things in there, but you also talk about, I think if you have a link to your culture or whatever, that's fine, I think it's better said and better stated sometimes when you have a link to your actual careers site, so that you don't waste that verbiage in your job ad. Because here's the thing: it's just like us. How long do we look at resumes? We look at 7-10 seconds, many times, maybe even a max of 25. Think of the average job seeker, right? You're going to have fall-offs if your job description is too long or your process is too long. So, if you have a bunch of front-end stuff that's going to, turn off the candidate.
How long are your job ads? How many lines? How many lines in the job ad then?
I've heard best practice is 500 words at most. So try to keep them, don't make them long and verbose. Try to keep them tight whenever possible. That makes the most sense to me. Okay. And even Katrina Kibben, who I would agree is one of the foremost thought leaders on job ads,
thought leader is an insult it's an insult on this show. Okay, better watch what you're saying.
Is it really? Okay. Well, I'll say one of the as far as I'm concerned, I think
you like her work. You like her work.
I do.
Okay.
She's fantastic. So I would point folks to her and her blogs for great ideas on that space.
So here's something a little more concrete. Okay, some of the recruiters on my Facebook group said they don't like certain kinds of email addresses. One woman said the candidate sent in a resume. The email address it came from was hookers and beer. She ruled them out. Would you rule them out? That's a no. You wouldn't rule them out.
I would rule them out more than likely. I think I would on that case.
Okay, I guess the next one, another recruiter said she ruled out, I'm banging your wife.
Yeah, I'd rule that out too.
I'm not making this up. These are recruiters saying what they get, right? Okay. Anybody who wouldn't rule those people out, raise your hand now. Don't do it. Don't tell us. Don't tell us. Okay. We got 10 minutes. Okay. Here's a question I never get a good answer to. Okay. If there's a salary range and the candidate asks you how much money is the job paying, well, first of all, will you tell them if they ask right at the start? You get one of these guys on the phone. You're leaving your voicemail like you told us. The person picks up, Mike, I'm sorry I haven't called you back yet. I'm actually here, and you say, look, Bill, thanks for picking up. I've got this position I wanted to tell you about. Here's the title, and the first thing Bill says is, what's the salary, Mike? Will you tell him, or will you put him off?
Yes, I would tell them that.
Okay. Will you tell him a range or one number?
I usually tell them the average range of what we normally would go for in a role like that.
Okay. Now, here's my question. Will you tell them the honest top of the range, or will you give them a few $1,000s less to give yourself room to raise it? Which will you do? Sorry.
That's the approach I use. Yep.
So when he says what's the range and it's 80 to 100, you don't say 80 to 100. You lie. Is that right?
No. I'll tell them our average range is generally between 80 to 90. And then if they say, well, I'm hoping to be here, and I said, well, that's our average range, but we possibly can go up a little bit from there. That's the approach.
So
and
if
you
say, he says, Mike, what's and he sounds like a good guy, like a nice person, and not going to give you a hard time. And he says, Mike, what's the salary range? Before we get going, let's know that we're talking. And so you say 80 to 90, and he says, sorry, I'm at 104. I'm at 94 already. And then immediately you say, well, you know what? Maybe I could accommodate you. So it's not obvious that you were lying a minute ago.
Right.
You don't think so?
Seriously, I think the thing I do is I'll say, here's our average range, and what that means is our average offers come in at this range, and if they say, well, this is where I'm hoping to be, they volunteered that. So what it does is it enables the candidate to actually tell you where they're hoping to be, and then I'll actually turn it back on them, and I'll say, where are you hoping to be? And then the dialogue goes from there. So usually helps mitigate that.
You don't think you're lying when it will go up to 100 and you say 90. That is not lying in your opinion. Am I right about that?
Because I just told them what my average range was, and my average offers come in at this
what
level.
Does average range mean? What is average range? Is that where most people get hired? 90?
That's where most of our people get hired, at that particular level. And if the candidate says, "Well, this is
Michael G.
kind
Cox,
of where I'm hoping to
how
be,"
honest are
then
you? Is he lying, or is he being an honest person?
I think he's trying to be as honest as possible.
Honest as possible is not honest, okay? so he's not honest, right? He's not being honest. Am I right about that?
I would say no, you're not right about that.
Okay, Jerry, is he being honest when the company will go up to 100 and he says, and he uses these weasel words, average, and he says 90.
Welcome to Ghosted by the Machine, the podcast about work, hiring, and all the things no one explains after you click Submit Application. We talk about broken hiring systems, AI filters that eat resumes for sport, recruiter ghosting, and the very real humans trying to survive it. Each episode features real stories, honest conversations, and just enough sarcasm to stay sane. No buzzwords, no thrill to announce, no advice written by an algorithm pretending to be a thought leader. If you've ever wondered where your application went, you are in the right place. This is Ghosted by the Machine. No resume required.
Jerry, you still there?
I don't think that's lying, dude. I usually say I try and get 3 different averages from a client. So worst performers in their first year, the overall average, and then top performers in their first year.
Yep. And exactly to Mike's point there, I try to use where the average performers are, because you really don't know if that candidate's, you're still it's kind of like a dating game.
You don't know. You don't know
till
after the person's hired.
Still. Yeah.
Oh, you think you're going to find out if they're a hot performer before you hire them?
I mean, there's only so much detail you have, so give them the middle point, where you're going to generally go for the most part.
Okay,
I think
final
that's
question. Final question. Okay. Do hiring or maybe second final question. Do hiring managers make false promises? Do they ever make false promises, and then when the person gets hired, she's not happy? She said, "I thought I was going to get this.
Happens.
I don't even have to." Oh, can you tell us a story? How do you know? Do you have a story?
That happen? Oh my gosh. I mean, this goes back to my agency days where I had a hiring manager.
Oh, okay, it's not recent. Okay, you haven't had that happen.
No, it's not recent,
right?
Most of my managers are pretty good. I'll admit it.
Okay, if you talk to a candidate and you say, listen, what's generating your interest in this specific job? She said, look, you read all the articles. What makes people leave a job is the boss, and that's true for me too. I can't stand my boss. Is that going to prejudice you against her?
I mean, you have to go through the work.
Mike, I hate his guts. I hate his guts, and I have a right to. Do you want me to tell you everything he's doing? I will.
I listen to the candidate through that conversation and use my best judgment. So I know that's probably not the answer
you know what?
Want,
you've already said I am prejudiced against this candidate. She should never say
not necessarily.
That she doesn't like her boss.
If the candidate is in a tough situation, that's actually a good candidate sometimes to recruit from, because they may be a great performer.
What's your having in mind? How come you're saying, well, and maybe, How come you're saying, Mike? How come you're not saying animals not an issue?
To that.
It's not an issue for me. You know what?
Listen. I think it comes. You have to qualify it. You have to ask more questions and get to the root cause of it and try to understand what's going on. I mean, if the candidate can explain it and say, here's what happened and here's the circumstance, and maybe something unethical was going on. I get that. I mean, I think those things are valid.
I just don't like him. He's always looking over my shoulder. I don't like micromanagers. Is that good enough for you, Mike?
Yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah, if the candidate's qualified and they've given me solid evidence that they meet, most of my criteria, I'll still put that candidate forward.
Okay. What if she says, you know what? I don't like the way he smells. Okay, that's a joke. Okay, it's a joke. Okay. Michael Rasmussen, Michael G. Cox, Jerry, Kathy. I don't know who else is here. Nobody else spoke. did maybe one other person spoke? I don't know. I thought someone spoke earlier and never came back.
Hi, Michael.
Anyway,
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th. I had Happy 1st, okay? I'm Canadian. We had our holiday on.
Mike.
Hold on a second. Kendra, how come you didn't say anything the whole show? I was looking for opinions. And at the end, when I'm not looking, that's when you announce you're here.
I had a crap load of candidates to go through. Mike was doing great.
Okay. Congratulations to you. Your son got a PhD. Am I right about that?
Yes, and he accepted it. He had 7 job offers, and he didn't want any advice from recruiter mom as to what to accept, and he'll be
Congratulations.
working.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, PhD in particle nuclear physics. But he's accepted it.
He's got to take a good job because he's going to be supporting you 20 years from now, okay?
He's my 401k plan.
That's what you should. Actually, according to if you read the papers, he'll be living in your basement 20 years from now. Hey, everybody!
He's moving.
Go ahead.
He took a job at Sloan Kettering.
Okay, I know the name. What's that?
It's a cancer institute, leading cancer research.
Well, he'll be able to save you when it's time. Sorry, is that too maudlin? You know what? You come in the show a little earlier, and then I can talk to you. Okay? Right now, the show's over. Thank you, everybody. Go